So last night we got a light dusting of snow. I guess winter is definitely here now. It's not too cold out, only -4, which is nice. The Porsche did not get in the garage yet, but that will be coming hopefully. Here's the larch in its fall colors. The bog forest. The Avatar Grove. Yeah, a little snowy out for sure.
Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to be working on my Cotoneaster. Here's a look at my Cotoneaster, and I've done several big operations on this tree. The first big operation was the root system. I took off all the roots that weren't nice and radial, and it left a very meager root system. And I took off all the large branches also. So some severe reduction on this tree. And it was slow to recover, but now it's starting to grow strong. The tree is nice and firm in the pot, and the branches are starting to grow with a lot of vigor. So today I'm going to do some branch selection and some branch reduction. I'm going to start today around the back of the tree, and you can see this long branch here. It's coming, it's a sucker that came up from the root system. So I need to prune that away if I want to keep this a single trunk tree, which is what I want to do. So that will have to get pruned off. I'll come in here to the base of that branch and I'll just try and uncover the soil to see where that branch starts from. So here it is down in here. There's a root there, and it actually has 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 branches growing from it. So I'll come in here and I will prune the first big branch off. So I'll come in here nice and flush with the root system. So here I go, big cut coming up, just like that. You can see there's also a couple more branches growing from that root, so I will prune those away also. There's number 2. And number 3 is in here. Let me just find the base of that branch. There it is in there. So I can come in here, push down, and squeeze. Now there's also a couple more suckers coming up from here. So I'll need to find out where they come from, if it's the same root or coming off a different root. It looks like they're coming up from a different root. Okay, so I'll prune those away also. Here I go. Like that. There's also one at the back here. Now I see some white stuff which looks like it could be mealybugs maybe. So we'll give that a spray for sure. So I'll come in and remove this sucker coming off of there's a root coming off it, I'll prune back like that, and then I'll come in and prune off the base of that branch like that. I'm just kind of exposing the base of the trunk here a bit. The moss has grown up really well here. I'll peel away that moss. Okay, so that's got all the suckers removed from the base of the trunk. Next, I'll spray that area down with soap and water just to make sure there's no mealy bugs in that area. Spray the whole tree, in fact. That should do it. I'm going to continue cleaning up the tree. I'll remove the moss from the base of the tree, remove all the leaves that have fallen off the tree, a general tidy up, and then we'll come in and do our branch pruning. So I did all these major operations on the tree when I first got it. The roots first, then the branches. And that's, you know, you get those major operations out of the way while the tree's young. You haven't got a lot of time and effort into the tree. And if it survives, you have something that you can build on in the future, something, you know, a good start to the tree. If you leave the roots coarse and ugly and start refining the tree, well, then you never really sort out the major problems with it. And if you do, it's always a bit risky, and I would rather take the risk when I first get the tree than, you know, work on developing the branches and everything and then realizing, well, I never really sorted out the roots or the basic branch structure. So I try and do all these major operations first, and then if the tree lives, then you have something nice. If the tree doesn't live, well, then you try again with a different tree. Every operation you do to a tree, every bonsai technique, there's always some risk with it. But that's, you know, the hobby. You're not just growing a tree wild in a pot generally. You're trying to shape it, to refine it, and have the tree become what you envision. So now I'll get rid of all the dead leaves here that have fallen down and fall. So this had really nice fall colors. You can still see some of them on here. They're a nice bright red color. And someday, you know, hopefully this tree will have berries on it. So you get the fall colors, the berries. Could be quite exciting. So I will repot this again in spring, sorting the roots out even more. The major kind of risky operation with the roots is over. It's survived. So from then on, it's just, you know, root refinement, getting the roots looking good, tapering from thick to thin, getting movement in them, subdivision, and a fine compact root system with lots of feeder roots. So you can grow the top of the tree nice and dense and healthy. The sun came out for a second there, and now it's clouded over and snowing again. Here is a look out the windows of the greenhouse, my view of the world. I love working in the greenhouse out here when it's stormy outside and you're nice and warm and dry inside. It is really snowing out now. Wow. Okay, I've got the surface of the soil all cleaned up. Looking good. Here's a look at my Cotoneaster. I've got the landscape all cleaned up. So now it's time to do the branch selection. Is it ever snowing out now? Wow, it's a winter wonderland out here now.
I'm looking at the tree from the front, and the first thing I notice is I have two branches coming straight out the front of the tree. So I'm going to prune those off. So this one here, that one's off, and this one here. Like that. So there's the front of the tree now. It's looking better. I have, coming up the trunk line, this branch is in a nice place here. I like it. I'm just going to shorten it. I've got a bud on the bottom here. I've got one on the top here, the bottom here, the back. I think a good place to prune it would be here. Just taking the tip off. There's lots of buds in there to develop that branch. It's quite skinny, this branch, so it needs to be, a little thicker. If I go up the trunk line, I've got my major trunk line comes out the front here, and then it kind of does some funny stuff in the apex here. I've got a branch to the left here. I've got some vertical growth here behind that branch, and then I've got a big kind of stub back here with some vertical growth. So I do want this to look like an old apple tree is my vision for this tree. So I don't mind, multi branches coming up in the apex here. However, this one's too long. It's a beautiful cascading branch, but it needs to be shortened. I've got some good buds here. So I think I'm going to prune it quite far back to here. Like that. Shortening that branch. I've got another cascading one here. I think I'll prune this one back to here. I've got one coming out the top of this branch, and it kind of competes with my leader back here, or my vertical part. I don't think I want that part of the branch at all, so I'm going to remove it totally. Like that. If I go up this vertical section, I've got one coming straight out the front. I've got a bud back here. There's one here. I can at least prune it off short, but I don't think I want a branch coming straight out the front of the tree like that. So I'm going to remove it. Like that. Then I've got my vertical shoot coming up the top here. I'm going to cut it back to here. Like that. Now I've got two branches kind of growing parallel here. And I've already got this branch on the left here and this thicker one, so I'm going to remove this one totally. It'll just create future problems. So that one's off. This branch here, it's okay. I'm just going to shorten it. And also this one over here, I'm just going to shorten like that. Keeping that for now. There is a lot of branches growing in this one area here. Actually, this one is in the shade and it's growing from the junction of this branch. I'll take this one off. But I'll keep this one for now. It's kind of nice having something out this side of the tree. This branch needs shortening. Come back to here. Out the back of the tree I think this one's dead. Yeah. And there's a dead stump up here that I cut off and it generated these two new branches. I've got some good branching on this part. I'm going to keep that, so I think I'm going to prune it to that backwards facing bud. I'll have to get rid of this. It's coming straight out the front. So that comes off there. I've got a couple of branches out the back here. This one flows the nicest, so I'm going to remove this one down here, like that, and I'm going to shorten this one to there. It's looking better. Now I have a long branch out the back here that needs pruning back. I've got two branches from that one spot. One comes straight out the back, the other on an angle. I think at this point on the tree I have this branch, which is really nice. I like the placement of it. I've got one here which is also quite nice, but it's kind of growing on the same plane as this other branch. And then I've got the two ones at the back which are also a bit on the same plane. So I'll prune this one back to here. I'm going to remove the one coming straight out the back, like that. And then I think I've got to get rid of this other one here. Otherwise I get a whirl of branches in that area and I'll get eventually kind of a thickening of the trunk. So this one's going to come off like that. I'm not really happy with this branch here, so I'm going to remove it. Yeah, I like that better. Now I've got a dead stump back here. I'm going to clean these stumps up. All right, here I go. So this whole part of the branch is dead, so I'll take it off here like that. I'll clean. There's another dead branch in there. Up top here I have another dead stump I can clean back. Like that. And that gets rid of all my dead branches. So I think I'll just do a little sealing with the rubber cement. Get these wounds sealed up. I'll seal up this one too. It's a little large. It might prevent insects from getting in that area of the dead wood. And there's one here I can seal up with some rubber cement. Again, just to stop decay. There's one out the back here I need to seal. And one down low. There's an old wound here I could just put some cement on too. And that's got the tree all pruned up. I'll rotate the tree around so you can see it from all angles. So here's my front, coming around to the right hand side, coming around to the back, coming around to the left hand side, and back to the front. I think it has that image of an old apple tree. I think it's a suitable style for this Cotoneaster, and I'm happy with the way it's developing. I think after next year it's going to get even better. One thing I'll have to work on this tree is these branches are new, and you can see, you know, you've got your thick trunk and this skinny branch with no taper, no sub-branching. So it'll be a matter of just letting this branch grow, thicken up, pruning it back again, letting it subdivide, grow again, pruning it back again, clip and grow over many years so I get the branch starting off thick from the trunk and tapering to finer and finer branches out towards the end of the profile. I see at bonsai shows a lot that, you know, you have a thick trunk like this and all these skinny branches coming off of it, and the tree is kind of pruned to its final profile. And it doesn't look very good because the branches look like
new branches. They don't look old and mature, and that comes with time through clip and grow. Here's a final look at the weather outside before we go today. It sure changed from fall to winter very quickly. My Cotoneaster is planted in a 3D printed pot, and you can download the file for this pot for free off of Thingiverse. Just type in Nigel Saunders Bonsai pot and you'll find the file. So that is it for today. I've got my Cotoneaster all pruned up. It's looking good. I'm very happy with it. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.